Hey folks, welcome. My name is Dean Gould, Web Connect 180, and I'm really excited that you're here today. I'll tell you, medical sales is so phenomenal. I get so excited about it. I just got off the phone with a great friend of mine, Neil Bayless, who helped me create Med Connect 180, and he started another company out in California and is just doing amazing. So many great new products on the market, and they just keep coming. That's why this is such an amazing industry. And MedConnect 180 was really created to help people not only get into the industry, but also to be the best that you can be in the industry. You probably came here because you caught one of our catchy titles on our video. Um, but the reality is, Forbes magazine and Pew Research both concluded the same thing, that one-third of Americans really are not happy with their careers and their jobs. A lot of people hate their jobs. You may not like your job and find it unmotivating, and so you're looking for something new. And I can tell you that I was in the same boat over 25 years ago. I really did not like my job or my industry at all. Real estate had ups and downs. I was in banking, and it just was not stable. The jobs that I had were pretty boring. I sat in a cubicle, and I really had to drag myself out of bed every day. So just by fate, and I say it's fate, I was out with a friend of my brother's, and I were out with a friend of my brother and my brother, and he told me about medical sales. I had no idea that medical sales even existed. And I'm just sitting there on the edge of every word. And I thought, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for all my life or all my working career. The only problem was that no recruiter would work with me. I would send my resume out. I would try to get these people on the phone. And recruiters, I've learned, because I was a recruiter for 2 years, are great people. They're working hard, but they have to put people in front of their customers that fit the requirements and the qualifications that the job orders request. And my problem was I was a job hopper, strike one. I was out of work, strike two, and I had the wrong kind of sales that most managers look for, strike three. So the ones that were on the phone were nice and polite. They wished me luck. They didn't think I had any chance of getting in. But after 4 months of networking and doing some pretty incredible things, I landed an amazing job with the largest healthcare manufacturer in the world, Johnson and Johnson. And I spent 20 years there. And there's a lot of courses out there now. All of a sudden, you have an idea, and that's, you put that vibration out into the universe. But you really want to look at the qualifications of the people, that if you're going to spend your good money to either get coached by somebody or to take a course, that you want to look at their background and where they come from. There's a lot of great courses out there, and this one I think is special because I was able to get together 12 industry leaders that are just knocking it out of the park out there, or have knocked it out of the park and have gone on to be vice president of sales and different people. So we've really put together an action-packed program to help you get into the industry, to get those interviews, to get the industry, to get in the industry. And once you're in, to not just be an average rep, not to struggle, but to be a top sales rep. And so in addition to the course, you're also going to get 5 incredible books. One of them, the greatest sales book ever written, to this day is still the #1 medical sales book ever written. And it has helped thousands of people not only get into the industry, tens of thousands, to not only get into the industry, but also to be a great sales rep once they get in. And it's been endorsed by so many different companies over the years. Johnson and Johnson, Cordis was a division there, Acclarent, Medtronic, Gynecare. So many industry leaders out there use the books as training manuals. Ethicon, Endo, Surgical, literally every rep that came into the company from about 2004 to 2008 or so got the book. It's been updated. This course is like the book on steroids, but you're going to get the book for free. And you're also going to get a free book that's going to help you really prepare and get interviews, prepare for interviews and get interviews. And that's free. So you can get off the video right now and sign up at www.medconnect180.com or click below. We want to give that to you as your gift, and we want to help people. I know a lot of people marketing things on the internet. They all say, oh, I've done so well, I want to give back. We really do want to give back. And I think a lot of those people are being sincere. So you get a free book, that'll help you out tremendously. But if you're not a reader, which so many people have given up reading today, we've got our course that you can get, which is really phenomenal. So why would you listen to me? And I'll humbly say that I have succeeded in this industry on the backs, not on the backs, that's a bad way to put it, with the help and the support of some phenomenal people throughout my career. Nobody gets to anywhere they get in this world without the help of a lot of great people. And so I got in the industry. I've sold life-changing products, life-saving products, everything from cardiothoracic heart valves to balloon sinuplasty to gynecology products that help save women from having to get hysterectomies, CO2 heart lasers. I mean, the list goes on of just incredible technologies. And I've been fortunate. I'm a 3-time Region Sales Manager of the Year, 4-time runner-up Region Sales Manager of the Year. Recently, I run Region Manager of the Year for Key Technology at my last job. And I've held positions as Vice President of Sales, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. I've been a Global Product Director. And again, without the help of a lot of incredible people along the way, I wouldn't have gotten to where I've gotten, and I wouldn't have been able to write my books, nor help put together this incredible course. So again, go get your free guide, sign up below, or go to medconnect180.com. I've also put together a stable full of incredible coaches and mentors that can help you as well. But part of your package, if you decide to get involved in the course, is to get a 20-minute free coaching session with either myself or one of our coaches and mentors, where we can help you really bring the best out of your resume. We certainly don't want anyone to, you see a lot of coaches out. I coached somebody the other day, and whoever had coached him had told him basically to lie in his resume. Now, I know a lot of people out there who lie in their resume. I don't know them, but I've seen resumes where they lie in their resume. They really stretch the truth beyond imagination. And literally in this case, the person that was helping this person out and out told them to lie. So we're certainly not going to do that. But what we want to do is put you in a position to show the best of who you are and why you're the best person for the job, and to pull out those things that you've done in your past that really make you outstanding. And once you're in that interview, I have interviewed thousands of people. That's no exaggeration. Throughout my over 18 years of sales management, I've hired 40 people that went on to be top salespeople, and they went on themselves to become directors of sales, vice president of sales, VP of marketing for many different companies. And through that process, and 2 years as a recruiter, as I mentioned. So I've literally interviewed thousands of people. I've seen horrendous resumes. I've seen phenomenal resumes. But the reality is, everybody, once they submit that resume, seems to think that their resumes are excellent. And the reality is 90% of them, and I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings, but the reality is 90% of them are either horrendous or they're really not bringing out the best in who those people are. So myself and our coaches, we can help you bring out the best in your resume. We can also spend that 20 minutes to mock interview and ask you tough questions and help you really, again, bring out the best answers of who you are, not to distort the truth, but to help you practice and get the best out of you to come out in that interview. So all of our mentors have years of incredible success in this industry through good times and bad. So you see a lot of people that maybe they jump in for a few years and they hit a nice wave and they do great, but how many people can succeed in the worst of times? I know I went back to a company one time. Uh, the region director came to me and he said, "Hey, I know you managed this team a few years back and you brought them to the top of the sales rankings. How'd you like to come back?" And at that time, their competitors were about to launch their product onto the market. And people are like, "Why would you ever come back at a time like this?" So I guess I like a good fight, but I was able to take that team from the bottom of the rankings to the top of the rankings. So one of the keys, I think, to my success and the keys of success to so many great managers out there is their ability to hire great people. It's an art and it's a science. There's a formula that managers look for in especially entry-level medical sales or into that advanced medical sales jobs. And there's also things that are intangible that aren't maybe on a resume that managers look for in hiring their next great sales rep. And that's the key. If you want to be region sales manager of the year or region vice president of the year, you've got to hire great people. And then once you have those great people hired, you've got to help them jump out of the gate immediately and become a success. One of the worst expressions I've ever heard in my career, I was at a great company called Soren, and I took over this team at Carbomedics, which was a division, and some of the tenured reps that were somewhat hiding, I think, behind their mediocrity, mediocrity is they would say to the new reps, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. You know what? I'm sorry to say that every year is like a football season, and you've got to win every month, every quarter, every game, and that's the end of the year, hitting yourself and getting over quota. So it is a sprint somewhat, and a lot of smaller, medium companies really live and die by their quarterly earnings. So you've got to jump out of the gate strong. And so that is what our course is about, helping people to hit the ground running, get that plane up off the ground fast so that you're flying and at a nice high altitude, and that you are able to maintain that great consistency throughout your career. So what I want to tell you is don't hesitate. We've made this thing so inexpensive. Another great trainer out there who you may have seen him on YouTube, his name is Omar Khatib, and he does a phenomenal job, a whole new dimension that's in our business of really being able to get in front of physicians and healthcare providers through LinkedIn. He does a great course on that. And we were talking, he goes, "Dean, you are selling your course, you and your team, way too inexpensive. You could be selling that thing for $300. So, I appreciate that advice. He is certainly a master at marketing on the internet. But at this point, again, we want to help people get in the industry. We want to make it affordable, and we want to help you land that great job in the medical industry. So go get your free book if that's all you can afford right now. But really, the price that we have our packages at are so affordable. And if you get into it and you decide medical sales isn't for you, one, I can promise you that the lessons you're going to learn in the free guide to getting into medical sales, as well as the greatest sales book ever written, those books at our course are lessons you're going to learn that are going to help you through the rest of your life and your career. There are concepts in those books that are going to really benefit you hundreds of thousands of dollars through the course of your life. And they're just phenomenal. You can see the reviews on Amazon, and you can see the reviews in other places. Just incredible. So again, go get involved. I do want to tell you two of my favorite recruiting stories and manager stories. And the first one, it was recently, I hired a guy named Kevin. And when I interviewed this guy, he looked like he was about 17, and now he looks like he's about 19. But I think he was probably 26, 27. And he worked for a company, and they gave him a rural territory. And he was out there calling on farmers with some of his products that actually would apply to farmers. It was really a market that he uncovered that most of the reps never even thought about, but he found an application for some of his products. And these farmers said, who is this city slicker coming out here in his blue Navy suit and trying to sell me products? And one of the guys mentioned to him, like where I grew up, if you've never milked a cow, you're not worth anything, something to that effect. And Kevin said he spent a few days with this guy milking cows. And the next thing you know, he landed that business. And from there, that guy told his friend, the farmer next door, about him. And he just really captured this whole market. And I thought, man, here's a guy that goes the extra mile and really looks under every rock for business, thinks out of the box. And he's just so charismatic that I hired the guy. And he actually came on board right before the pandemic. And so while a lot of people were struggling during the pandemic to get into cases, first of all, the guy was like a sponge. So he read my book from cover to cover within the first week, I think, that he came on board. He blew it out in training, and he was so coachable. And so we had the best time. And I immediately went out with him in the field, show him all the secrets to get around a hospital and how to get back in the back in greens, as they say. If you get in the greens, you're going to get into the greens, which means if you get into your green scrubs, today I'm on bright sky blue scrubs, but if you get into the greens, you're gonna and get in the back while all the other reps are looking through the window trying to figure out how to get in. You're in the back with the surgeons making helping them to do cases, use your products, then you're going to make great commission. Because you're going to be bringing value to your customers on a day-to-day basis. Well, Kevin blew it out of the water in his first year, really did phenomenally, and blew it out in his second year, was way over quota both years. And so the reality is he took my advice that it's not a marathon, it's really a sprint, and he jumped out. And that's what I would say, listening and listening to those people around you that are succeeding. He also partnered up with some great people in the company that helped mentor him, and he was phenomenal. So actually, you're going to get to hear from Kevin. He is one of the people on the course, and he's going to tell you how he has done it now twice in two different companies in the medical industry and has done a phenomenal job. The second great story, and again, you like hearing I think there's tips along the way in these stories that will help you. So again, go get your free book at www.medconnect180.com, or get the course. And the second story I want to tell you is about a guy named Ben who was in the pharmaceutical industry. And there's a great online video we've got where I interview one of the powerhouses of the industry, Manny Asser, who was the global director of sales training at Johnson & Johnson, the Cordis division, which is a company I worked at. And you'll be able to tell real quick that Manny is just a straight shooter and really lays it out. But there's this big controversy and anti-bias against pharmaceutical reps in the medical industry. And there's reasons for that, but I can tell you that there are great people that have come from that industry that have done phenomenally well in medical sales. But I think the general bias is that you really better make sure you find a great one. Otherwise, they won't survive in the medical industry for, again, a number of reasons. Well, Ben was a cardiology specialty pharmacy rep, and he knew every cardiologist in the Inland Empire. And the manager really was not interested in speaking to pharmaceutical reps. But after speaking to Ben a couple of times and his relentless pursuit of the job order I was placing as a recruiter, I just knew this guy's on fire. I interviewed him thoroughly. He's going to be successful no matter what he does. But the manager just was not going to budge. And so I pulled an old trick out of the bag with Ben, and I told him to go do something, and he did it. And the next thing, the guy was like, okay, I relent. And I don't usually like to do that because it kind of irritates managers. But anyway, Ben made it happen. And the next thing you know, the guy sat down with him. And after the interview, he came back to me and said, I'm still not interested. And I said, listen, Brian, I'm telling you, this guy is on fire. He has got that passion, and he knows every cardiologist. He's going to make it happen for you. And so he agreed to see him again. And next thing you know, he moved on and hired him. Lo and behold, 6 months later, I think I already mentioned that the region director came back around and said, "Hey, I heard you managed this team in the past. Would you like to come back?" And I did. So Ben and I, in the trenches, after two major competitors just launched their products in the field, went to battle together, and Ben just blew it out of the water. And in his second year, it really wasn't a full year the first time, like 6 months, and then his second year, he was sales rep of the year. So these are the kind of people that managers are looking for, and we want to help you either, create your story of who you are and why you're going to be a great candidate and a great sales rep for these managers to hire. And we're going to lay out the strategies and the framework in our course on how you can actually do that. Now, why is the course important for people that are trying to get in the industry? Because you have to understand what the industry is all about before you can have a deep, great interview with a manager on why you're going to be so great. So we lay it all out there. We've got some incredible people, and the podcasts are really fun to listen to, because I try to make sure that I get really animated, fun people to be on these calls. And you are going to set yourself up for a great chance to get in this great industry. So I wish you all the best. Go get your free book, and we'll see you on the inside. Take care.